Welcome to this English lesson. The topic I'm going to talk about is sustainable development. First of all, let's start by defining the term sustainability. The term sustainability means maintaining the world we live in. So the main idea is that we must act responsibly so that the resources on the planet that are not unlimited, of course, will be able to support many generations to come. As I have just said, the resources on Earth are not forever, and every day they are exploited to produce so many things such as houses, cars, computers, and many other objects we always use. So the idea of sustainability is maintain these resources forever. Human actions have always had a deep impact on the environment, and this impact has not always been a positive one, of course. Let's think about pollution or climate change. So, what can we do to put an end to pollution or to avoid climate change? There are many things we can do. First of all, we have to change our mindset, our way of thinking, and we have to fight for a livable world, just like Greta Thunberg always says. Let's think that, I want to underline the idea that we can also use nature to reach this goal. Let's think on trees, for example, and on how trees are important and vital for the environment. So it is necessary to learn how to repair nature, how to restore it. And it is also necessary to learn to finance all those activities that can help us to reach these goals, rather than those ones that destroy nature. In this slide, I want to underline this idea, showing you two videos where the youngest environmental activist, Greta Thunberg, tries to explain us that it is possible to reach these goals only if we want it, and only if we work all together. Let's watch them.
Air pollution is it's a big crisis because around 7 million people die every year from air pollution. And also that this whole sustainability crisis, in a way, all these problems, the climate crisis, loss of biodiversity, air pollution, these are all linked, and we need to change our mindset when it comes to that. And that is unacceptable, and we cannot just, because these are human lives and it's affecting our health, and these are just not just numbers. We need to see them as people. I'm going to continue to fight for a livable world, and I hope you will join me. This is not a drill. My name is Greta Thunberg. We are living in the beginning of a mass extinction. Our climate is breaking down. Children like me are giving up their education to protest. But we can still fix this. You can still fix this. To survive, we need to stop burning fossil fuels. But this alone will not be enough. Lots of solutions are talked about, but what about a solution that is right in front of us? I'll let my friend George explain.
There is a magic machine that sucks carbon out of the air, costs very little, and builds itself. It's called a tree. A tree is an example of a natural climate solution. Mangroves, peat bogs, jungles, marshes, seabeds, kelp forests, swamps, coral reefs, they take carbon out of the air and lock it away. Nature is a tool we can use to repair our broken climate. These natural climate solutions could make a massive difference.
Pretty cool, right?
But only if we also leave fossil fuels in the ground.
Here's the crazy part. Right now, we are ignoring them. We spend 1,000 times more on global fossil fuel subsidies than on natural-based solutions.
Natural climate solutions get just 2% of all the money used on tackling climate breakdown.
This is your money. It is your taxes and your savings.
Even more crazy, right now when we need nature the most, we're destroying it faster than ever.
Up to 200 species are going extinct every single day.
Much of the Arctic ice is gone. Most of our wild animals have gone. Much of our soil has gone.
So what should we do?
What should you do?
It's simple. We need to protect, restore, and fund. Protect. Tropical forests are being cut down at the rate of 30 football pitches a minute.
Where nature is doing something vital, we must protect it.
Restore. Much of our planet has been damaged.
But nature can regenerate, and we can help ecosystems bounce back.
Fund.
We need to stop funding things that destroy nature and pay for things that help it.
It is that simple. Protect, restore, fund.
This can happen everywhere. Many people have already begun using natural climate solutions. We need to do it on a massive scale.
You can be part of this.
Vote for people who defend nature.
Share this video. Talk about this.
All around the world, there are amazing movements fighting for nature. Join them.
Everything counts. What you do counts.
We live in a globalized world, and if on the one hand globalization allows people and countries to exchange things, information and ideas in a very short time, more quickly than in the past, on the other hand, with globalization, the inequality gap between poor countries and rich countries is widening every day, and the consequences can be alarming, of course. So it would be better if we asked some questions. First of all, how can we feed 9 billion people in 2050? Or how can we offer access to everyone to clean drinking water? Or how can we offer them access to health care? Another question is, what can we do to protect biodiversity? And finally, which are the concrete actions we can take against climate change? Even in this slide, I'm going to invite you to watch these two videos where we can find some answers to all these questions. Let's watch them.
Today, 1 in 8 people suffer from chronic hunger, which devastates opportunities for good health, growth, and prosperity. But hunger is not hopeless. It is solvable. We know that hunger and poverty go hand in hand, and that investing in agriculture is one of the best ways to pull people out of poverty. Through President Obama's Feed the Future initiative, we are leading a global effort to break the cycle of hunger and poverty. We bring private sector, government, and civil society leaders together to make a lasting difference in their own countries. We foster innovation and help smallholder farmers increase their yields and incomes so that they are able to feed their families enough nutritious foods and be a part of a future of shared progress and prosperity. From farms to markets to tables, we will feed the future.
More than half of humanity lives cut off from nature. Yet human life is only possible because of biological diversity and what ecosystems provide us with. We are dependent on forests, oceans, and all the species they harbour for clean air, water, food, energy, and materials. Even our ability to fight disease depends on biodiversity. Yet, we are destroying natural resources, wildlife, and habitats at a devastating pace. We are decimating the forests that provide our oxygen to produce palm oil and to raise cattle for food. We are poisoning rivers and farmland with pesticides and cementing over the wetlands that filter wastewater, keep floods at bay, and nurture birds and small mammals. Climate change is harming wildlife and endangering ecosystems. 1/5 of the world's coral reefs are dead, and more animal species die out each year. Even the bees that pollinate food crops are under pressure. None of this can be replaced. We've lost 1/10 of the planet's terrestrial biodiversity and 1/3 of freshwater biodiversity since 1970. We are on course to lose another 10% of land species by 2050. Today, the world spends $40 billion a year on pesticides and nearly $500 billion subsidizing fossil fuels. While environmentally harmful subsidies to agriculture are declining, they still total more than $100 billion a year. Meanwhile, the world spends just $50 billion a year on protecting biodiversity. This means that for every dollar we invest in biodiversity, we spend $13 on things that damage it. To sustain our ecosystems, we need more ambitious policies and closer cooperation between governments, business, and civil society. The OECD can guide countries on how to mainstream biodiversity protection into policies in all areas of life. This includes taxing activities that harm biodiversity, paying landowners to do more to keep water clean or reduce deforestation, and reducing harmful subsidies. Using biodiversity offsets can also compensate for damage to nature from development. We can all help by waking up to the nature all around us and the need to sustain it. Our lives depend on it.
So, as I have just said, and as we have just watched, sustainable development can be a possible solution to all these problems. The term sustainable development emerged in the late 1980s as a response to the war for growing social and environmental problems. It meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to find their own needs. So, according to sustainable development, growth must be accomplished respecting both humankind and nature, of course. Now, let's talk about what we can do to support sustainable development or to be more sustainable. First of all, we can be more sustainable both indoors and outdoors, of course. Every day in our daily routine, we act without thinking about the possible consequences of our actions. So it would be better if we pay more attention on this thing, because for example, every day when we wake up, we brush our teeth. And since this action is done by each of us at least 2 or 3 times a day, it is important to learn to conserve or to use the water in the right way. In fact, in order to brush our teeth, we use water. So remember, don't leave the tap running every time you brush your teeth. Moreover, 65% of water used is used in the bathroom. Another example refers to the use of the cars. Every day we use our cars as vehicles of transport to go to school, to go to work, to go outside, to go shopping and so on. But since cars emissions from engines, gas emissions from engines cause air pollution, it would be better if we walked or rode our bike rather than using cars. Or when we are indoors, we often turn on the light while cooking, while reading a book, while studying, etc. It would be better if we remembered to turn off it before leaving the room. We can also be more sustainable even outdoors. For example, we have to remember to not to drop litter on the street. Or even when going shopping, we can help to support sustainable development, looking at the clothing labels or buying fair trade products, which guarantee the respect for biodiversity. In this slide, I want to underline this idea, showing you a video where we can find other examples of what we can or we cannot do to be more sustainable.
In our day-to-day life, we face small actions that can make a big difference for the environment and for our pocket. For example, when choosing lighting for the home, did you know that LED bulbs can be a great saving over conventional bulbs? They consume less, so having them turned on for the same length of time means less spending at the end of the month. This way, we can save almost $220 a year while we contribute to energy savings. For short trips, the bicycle is a better option than the car. Aside from saving money on gas, the bicycle is a zero-emissions vehicle, while the car consumption increases as you go, emitting up to 1.7 kilograms of carbon dioxide every 10 kilometers. In the kitchen, we can also reduce costs. A simple action like covering the pot while cooking is a saving of 25%, or even 50% if we use the pressure cooker. This way, we can save the money here covering the pot and using the pressure cooker. We continue taking care in the kitchen. Recycling used oil prevents severe environmental damage. Did you know that 1 liter of oil pollutes 1,000 liters of water? Furthermore, the recycled oil can be used to make soap, fertilizer, or fuel. When shopping, we can contribute to sustainability. Always look at clothing labels and buy fair trade products which guarantee respect for biodiversity and the workers who have made the garment.
Now, let's talk about the role of agriculture in sustainable development. First of all, agriculture is the largest world industry. It employs 1 billion people and croplands occupies around 50% of the Earth's habitable land. So sustainable agriculture can preserve and restore critical habits. On the contrary, unsustainable practices can have a deep negative impact on the environment, on nature, and even on people, of course. So we can say that without sustainable development in the rural sector, there is no sustainable development in the world. Moreover, the current production system cannot continue because it is not sustainable. Let's think about the use of pesticides or chemical fertilizers. In many countries, farmers use even 3 or 4 times more fertilizers than recommended by scientists or national standards in order to produce enough food to feed everyone. But of course, it is not a good thing. So it is necessary to change the way we deal with agriculture, to change the way we produce food. Moreover, a great amount of food we consume is produced using industrialized agriculture. Industrialized agriculture is a type of agriculture in which crops and livestock are produced and raised using industrial techniques. So besides using a lot of chemicals, fertilizers and pesticides, industrialized agriculture also uses fossil fuels and large machines to manage the land. On the contrary, sustainable agriculture is a type of agriculture in which crops and livestock are produced and raised, having minimal effect on the environment, because sustainable agriculture tries to create a good balance between food production and environment. There are different goals, several goals associated with sustainable agriculture. First of all, conserving water. We know that 69% of water is used in the agricultural sectors, and we also know how water is important and vital in the agricultural sector. So it is important to learn to conserve it. Other goals refers to the reduction of the use of fertilizers and pesticides. Another goal is promoting biodiversity in crops grown, or helping farmers improve their techniques and also their quality of life. And finally, maintaining economic stability. In order to reach all these goals, farmers use some strategies. First of all, rotating crops in fields. It is the practice of growing different types of crops in the same soil, but at different time. So the soil is not only used for only one set of nutrients. Or mixing crops. That is the practice of planting different types of crops at the same time and in the same field. So doing, the crops are stronger because they are genetically different. Or another strategy is integrating crops and livestock. This practice allows livestock to graze on the farm and to eat different types and varieties of plant. So doing, animals fertilize the land with their natural manure. Water management system is another strategy used, and this practice allows crops and livestock to receive the great amount of water, so the amount of water they really need. And finally, we can talk about planting cover crops. This practice reduces soil erosion and increases infiltration of water. So we can say that investing in sustainable farming method can help us increase productivity without overexploiting the farm. But unfortunately, it is not enough, because it is necessary to invest all together in many other fields in order to improve the sustainable development. In this slide, I'm going to invite you to pay your attention on this sentence. Together, everyone achieves more. It means that only if we work all together, we can reach our goals. For this reason, in 2015, world leaders from 139 countries met and agreed the Sustainable Development Goals, also called SDGs. The Sustainable Development Goals are really ambitious. The aim is to eradicate poverty and hunger, to fight inequality, to tackle climate change, and to achieve sustainable development for all. Well, let's watch the videos where we can realize how ambitious are the SDGs.
We can be.
We must be the first generation
to end extreme poverty.
The generation
most determined
to fight injustice
and inequalities.
The generation that saves the planet from climate change.
And this is how it will get done.
The global goals.
A 15-year plan
For everyone, everywhere.
With no one left behind.
We will live in a world
where nobody
anywhere lives in extreme poverty.
Where no one
goes hungry.
where no one
wakes in the morning
asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world where no child has to die
Of diseases we know how to cure.
And where proper health care
is a lifelong right for us all.
We will live in a world where
Everyone
goes to school.
and education gives us the knowledge
and skills
For a fulfilling life.
We will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities to thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
we cannot succeed if half the world is contact.
We will live in a world
where all people can get clean water
And proper toilets
At home,
at school and at work.
we will live in a world where there's sustainable energy for everyone.
heat, light.
and power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We will live in a world where economies prosper.
And new wealth
leads to decent jobs
For everyone.
and we will live in a world where our industry,
Our infrastructure and our
Best innovations.
are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
we will live in a world
Where prejudices and extremes of inequality are defeated.
Inside our countries and between different countries.
Where people live in cities and communities
That are safe, progressive,
and support everyone who lives there.
where we replace
What we consume.
Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back.
the threat of climate change.
where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas.
will restore and protect
Life on land.
The forests.
Animals.
The earth itself.
With peace between and inside countries.
Where all governments are open.
And answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people.
Work together
Partnerships of all kinds.
to make these global goals a reality.
These are the United Nations global goals
For sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
Hello world, how would you like to be changed? How can we even ask this? There are so many problems. No one would say the same thing. This is Fernando. He is a little orphan boy from Brazil who lives in slum. He would change the world by making sure everyone has electricity. But his big request is that he be given a chance to make some money so he can change the future for himself and his friends. Tina is working for a supermarket in the UK. She buys vegetables from all over the world and needs a good price so she can stay in business. But she wants to be fair to the farmers she buys from. It makes no sense to her to see so much food thrown away each week. Rani is a little girl in India. She would have a well in her village for clean water. And the road to her school would always be clear. Weather patterns have changed recently, so nobody knows when the floods are coming. Amal is in Somalia. Illegal trawling and chemical pollution in the oceans means he can't catch any fish, so he's got no job. Amal just wants to feed his family again. And Eugenie, she's an old lady from Louisiana, USA. She wants to afford the medicine she needs, but if she really tells the truth, she just wants fairness. Her whole life been unfair because she is a woman and because she's black. How should you change the world? The question our governments have been asking for a long time. They talk and talk and talk for many, many years because, like I said, nobody says the same thing. But then, despite their differences, they did it. They agreed on new goals. They called them the Sustainable Development Goals. And they cover all these things for everyone. 17 goals, 17 dreams, 17 things that they all sign their name to say they agree. These goals aren't big, they are huge. They are ambitious and they are wild. But they are not just the fantasies of a child. This is all the leaders and all the people with the money and power saying yes, this is possible. This is happening. This is achievable within our lifetime. Our leaders are saying this, but this is our future. So it's our responsibility to make sure it's not just fancy words, that these dreams will become a reality. We've got to hold them to it to make sure we and all the places we live in demand they keep their promises. We've got to join together. We've got to make some noise because this is our future. It's the one we all want.
The SDGs are characterized by 4 key principles. First of all, they are universal. It means that they apply to every country, rich and poor, developed and developing, north and south. The second principle is that they integrate all dimensions of sustainability, so economic development and social progress. The third principle is leave no one behind. It means that it does not matter who you are or where you live. The SDGs should change the world, and the world should be changed for everyone, even for those people who live in a marginalized way or in a vulnerable society. So, for this reason, world leaders agreed that no goals should be met unless it is met for everyone. I'm going to invite you to watch a video where we can listen to the voice of these marginalized people who talk about their need. We have to listen to them and we have to take into consideration their needs.
I was refugee in Pakistan, I was refugee in Iran, I was refugee in Dubai, and now I'm a refugee in France.
Les gens, quand tu es handicapé, ils n'essaient même pas de voir ce que tu es capable de faire, mais ils te jugent à travers ton handicap.
Haberme venido no fue una buena idea.
यहाँ की लड़कियां कुछ नहीं कर सकती।
लाइट रहित, उजियार रहित, हमरो बाल बचा उजियार रहित.
Agama me fumidam bem e só na me bem, mas que na me corta.
Porque se todo mundo tivesse alimento em casa, ela podia raciocinar. Então, poderia ser pobre, mas teria inteligência na cabeça para poder sair dali.
Parce que na mukili mutu azwa na mission na onzamba tindelai. Ngape na za mukili pona mission na ngai me nzambe ndayebi.
I've left my husband to be with a woman, and for me that's a huge step in my country as an African woman to do that. I do have a strong voice and I'm strong as a woman speaking for myself.
Nous devons dire au monde que nous existons, que vous êtes là. Et je suis sûr qu'aucune misère, aucune pauvreté extrême n'est pas une fatalité. On peut la combattre.
Mba afaka ihany fa mba tsy hitovy amin'le hoe toerana nisy atsony zany fa mba lasa ambonimbony kokoa zany izy dia tamiko ny reniny dia famihina teo zany any Teliana.
The last principle is that the SDG requires, of course, the participation of all. Now, In this slide, we can watch a video where we can find the 17 SDGs. We can find explained what they really exactly mean. The result of the SDGs, of course, reflects what the world wants. Let's watch the video.
In September 2015, the United Nations made history when 193 member states unanimously adopted 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, that serve as the centerpiece of its post-2015 development agenda. The goals are: no poverty, end poverty in all its forms everywhere; zero hunger, end hunger, achieve food security and improved nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture; good health and well-being, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages; quality education, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all; gender equality, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls; clean water and sanitation, ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all; affordable and clean energy, ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all; decent work and economic growth, promote sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all; industry, innovation and infrastructure, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation; reduced inequalities, reduce income inequality within and among countries; sustainable cities and communities, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable; responsible consumption and production, ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns; climate action, take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts by regulating emissions and promoting developments in renewable energy; life below water, conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas and marine resources for sustainable development; life on land, protect, restore and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss; peace, justice, and strong institutions, promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Partnerships for the goals. Strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Learn more about SDGC/A by visiting www.sdgcafrica.org. Stay connected through Twitter @SDGCAfrica and Facebook through our page, the Sustainable Development Goals Center for Africa.
Now it's time to check your acquired knowledge. So I'm going to ask you to do a very simple exercise where you have to match the vocabulary with the correct definition. This exercise will help you to verify, to check your acquired technical language on the subject matter. Let's do it. I'm going to ask you two questions. Which goal is important for your country and what can you do to help people and make the world a better place? I invited you to answer to these two questions, and the two questions are going to help you to open a dialogue or a discussion. Before finishing, I'm going to suggest you to do a simple game. It is a board game on the Sustainable Development Goals, and you can find more information through the link below the picture. Thanks for your attention.